everyone, Kick Knights here and welcome back to another video. So a few things before we start. One, this video will contain topics that are on screen right now, so if you're not in the right headspace to hear this, you're more than welcome to either watch any of my more lighthearted content or click off the video. And two, please don't tag anyone that is mentioned in today's video. That's the last thing I would want. Now that we have that out of the way, let's continue. So, TikTok. TikTok is an app that... I'm just kidding. If you're watching this video, you know what TikTok is. Today we'll be talking about a TikToker who recently had some allegations that are very, what's the word? Disgusting, to say the least. That TikToker being the Pumpkin Gentleman. The Pumpkin Gentleman is an artist that has, you guessed it, a pumpkin persona. I kind of knew of him before everything happened. People would talk about him like making fan art or fangirling over him. Sometimes his video would appear on my FYP, but since his content wasn't for me, I just kind of kept scrolling and minding my own business. But I did find his content a bit weird since he was sexual in his videos, but I just thought I was weird for thinking that and just moved on. I just mainly forgot about him until this year when someone drew his little brother dead, which, what? Like, hello? Why would someone do that? But anyway, this led to him coming up on my FYP more since many were showing their support for him, until recently when some allegations came up and a couple of weird videos started to resurface. A lot of people started to notice that his interactions with his fans were very weird, since he's an adult and the majority of his fans are minors. For example, a couple of comments and TikTok, something that I'll go more in depth in the video later on. While some tried to call him out for his weird interactions, many of his fans came quick to defend him, saying that that's how he plays around with his fans, that there was nothing wrong with him and to leave him alone, causing many to move on. Until now. Enough beating around the bush. What did he do? What is it that happened that led many to call him out on his weird behavior? It all started on Twitter when he drew himself with this Kuromi fit that's displayed on screen right now. I think you know where I'm going with this. He drew himself in this fit showing his whole bulge and posted this drawing on his public Twitter account for all to see. Keep in mind, this dude has an NSFW account, so I don't understand why he didn't post it on there instead of his public one, but I digress. After that, many criticized him on the Twitter post. This is understandable given that his audience are all mainly minors. He then posted a tweet saying, "In addition, erotic clothing and scenes were heavily normalized for young teens to consume, age 11 to 13? Excuse me? Did I read that correctly? Do I need new prescription for my glasses? Although that tends to be normalized, surprise, surprise, that still doesn't make it right." Now this led to many looking through his old tweets and TikToks, finding weirder things about him. When it comes to his TikToks, many point out how he over-sexualizes himself, despite his followers mainly being minors. I'll be showing a few TikToks now as examples that I found some people reposted, since his TikTok account is currently private. Something inside. Ooh. Eyes on me, baby. I got what you need, baby. Eyes on me, baby. I got what you need, baby. Eyes on me, baby. And it's because I'm tipsy. Tipsy. I'm feeling tipsy. Something tipsy. So don't something tipsy. And these were just a few of his TikToks. There's many more that he's made. Many of his fans, when they commented on his TikToks, they would say things like, "Oh, damn, that's so hot. Sheesh, now that's what I'm talking about." The list goes on, but the gist of it is that they would try to be flirty with him and he would at times reply and be flirty back. And something to keep in mind is that many of his fans don't put their age in their bio, so you would think he wouldn't reply to them then. But oh boy, you thought wrong, because that doesn't matter since he would still reply to them. Here's a screenshot of someone he replied to with the person saying that although they passed out a few times, there's his bread, he thanks them for it. Then there's a screenshot where he gave a like to some comments where someone asked whose bread that was and someone replied saying it was theirs. Pumpkin Gentleman did reply about these two screenshots. With the first one I showed, he said that there was no age in their bio, so he didn't understand if the person was a minor or not, saying that he admits he shouldn't have replied to the person in that way. Then in the other screenshot, he says that he also didn't know their age and that he doesn't understand why many are using the fact that all he did was like the comment against him. Now, to explain this, the reason why many are criticizing you, Pumpkin Gentleman, is because you are a public figure now. And and a grown adult. So you must make sure that the people who are replying to you are not minors, a requirement you set. Just because you didn't know if they were underage or not, it does not mean you should reply to them. Mostly when it comes to your sexual videos. You can easily do this little fun thing called ignoring the comment. I don't know, I'm just saying. And something else I want to point out is that many of his fans would call him Papa and would see him as a fatherly figure, something that Pumpkin Gentleman would play along with. Yet he would still post TikToks like this for quote-unquote fan service for his quote-unquote children, which just makes it even weirder in my opinion. Overall, most of the content he makes is just very sexual and something that he has been consistently called out for because again, many of his fans are minors, yet he still posted content where he over-sexualized himself. Moving on from that, why don't we move on with his tweets, and there's a lot to discuss there. There's a screenshot where one of his mutes on Twitter, I believe, said, "I want to get ripped by the pumpkin too." This person's underage, and Pumpkin Gentleman replied saying, "When you're older." What? I remember he replied to the backlash on the post, but I sadly can't find it. But I remember he said something along the lines of how he wasn't trying to be weird, he was just telling this person that he would play flirt with the person the moment they turned 18, since he only plays flirts with his friends who are 18 and over. Okay, yeah, cool, but the way that was worded is obviously not going to help your case, and many will raise their eyebrows at you, since this comes off as predatory, even if you state that wasn't your quote-unquote intention. Another thing is that there was an artist who was another mute of his, I believe, where she made a post being vulnerable and talking about her insecurities, most specifically her body insecurities. How do you think Pumpkin Gentleman responded to this? He made a tweet with a drawing of him chomping her stomach saying, "Appetizing, exquisite, scrumptious, snack you are." And then some emojis. "Gonna eat you right up, you charming, gorgeous cutie." Like, excuse me? What? Personally, if someone did that to me, immediately blocking, cause it's just weird, to me at least. I'd be creeped out if I posted art about something that puts me in a vulnerable position and someone decided to reply by drawing themselves having some weird enjoyment out of my insecurity. That's just my opinion though. I don't know how the artist feels since she has gone private on Twitter, and I haven't seen her response on her thoughts about the whole ordeal. Speaking of which, I have noticed he posts a lot of pictures where he draws plus size women / men, and there's nothing wrong with drawing that. But when I see him draw it, it's almost obsessive and weird. A lot of people pointed this out as well and said that he allegedly might have a fat fetish due to the drawings he makes, which I don't really blame them for thinking that, because from what I've seen, I can see why they think this. Cause in his drawings, you can see some fetishy undertones, mostly since he tends to draw himself like plus size / muscular, I guess you can say, which is a bit odd since he doesn't look like that in real life. This is a TikTok someone found of him, and as you can see, he's skinny. I understand many will argue saying, "Well, the Sona doesn't have to look like the artist," which is understandable, but Pumpkin Gentleman claims many times that's the body type he has in real life, like the video I showed earlier where he mentions he uses himself as a reference to draw men with big chests. Allegedly he claims that's his cousin, but I have no idea if that's true or not, so take that with a grain of salt. And if it is true, that's also very odd since he tends to make TikToks where he sexualizes himself a lot. Other than that, he has also posted other stuff that a lot of people have called him out for. He has posted a drawing of the time he had an ex-friend of his who has posted SH cards and the card someone's name on her thigh. He has talked about Lolicon / Shotacon, mainly the whole "she's 1,000 years old" argument and how it's normalized in Japan, which is something he tends to say a lot when it comes to excusing his behavior. There's a screenshot where on his NSFW account he follows someone named Darn Act, an artist who has drawn NSFW of Dipper and Pacifica and used the whole "oh, but I aged them up" excuse. And if you have seen my Discord Who's video, y'all know how I feel about that stupid excuse, which is that it doesn't fucking matter if they're quote-unquote aged up, because at the end of the day, we know them as minors, so that excuse means shit to me if I'm being honest. Moving on, he has also posted a picture of his quote-unquote Wii remote, if you understand what I mean, for YouTube doesn't beat me up. Lastly, he has called someone pathetic for attempting, which is just an awful thing to do to someone who is already feeling like he's at the end of the line. Due to the backlash, he posted an apology on TikTok, so let's go through it, shall we? I will be summarizing these screenshots, but I'll be having it on screen in case you guys want to read it yourselves, and also it might be a bit out of order, so I am very sorry for that, but to summarize, he apologizes for posting inappropriate content and having it exposed to his younger audience, as well as saying that he was sorry he was stubborn and didn't listen to many who warned him and told him to be aware of the content he makes and the age rating, that he didn't mean to harm anyone and that he realizes he's wrong now for making this sort of content, that he will be more aware and that he will be making his account 18+. In the next drawing, he talks about a tweet reply he made when someone talked about his Kuromi drawing, with the person saying, like, what do you mean you thought it was appropriate? There was a chance of someone 16 seeing your bulge. He replies saying, because to me, it was just an anatomy part. In Japan, that is considered normal. There are a lot of shows in anime where a character has a bulge or big boobs and other assets, either due to the anatomy or costume. In the first paragraph, he explains that he was just simply answering the person's question and explaining the differences between Japanese media and age viewing. And since he grew up in that kind of setting, he thought it would be fine, mostly because his content is more tame compared to what he grew up with, that he wasn't using it as an excuse but more like an answer to the person's question, and he realized that there was no point in explaining it since it didn't change his actions. In the second paragraph, he says that he understands if none of you support him now and doesn't want to associate with him, and understands if you're mad at him and that is valid if you are, saying that he will take a break to not run away but to reflect on his actions to show everyone he has changed. In the last screenshot, he talks about the tweet about the normalization of erotic clothing in the scenes for minors. He says that he was just trying to reply to someone who asked him why he thought suggestive drawings were okay for 16+ audience to see, after he had deleted a heavily suggestive drawing along with others that were inappropriate. And that's basically the end of all the screenshots and his apology for his behavior. So let's discuss, because it's certainly something. I will say that at the time I was like, finally man, it took you long enough. I was slightly annoyed with the whole, it's because I grew up in Japan. In Japan it's normal. Because newsflash, that still doesn't make it okay. Like, mostly since, like you said yourself, many tried to tell you that you shouldn't be making that type of content. You aren't a TikToker with a small following. You're a TikToker with a big following with an audience that mainly consists of minors. Something that you should have been more wary of and taking responsibility on. And I know many say, well, we shouldn't be babying our content because some parents don't parent their kids. And I understand that, and I know that it gets annoying. But at the end of the day, we can't do anything about that. So we can take some precautions to prevent some minors from reaching 18+ spaces and know what type of audience we have. I found a TikTok that explains this perfectly.
You like that? Huh? You like that? You just tune this out, don't you?
Now y'all are probably wondering, is that it? Is he on break now? Oh, I wish. I thought he was being serious and actually taking a break and reflecting, and I was like, okay, cool, and moved on. That's until not long after, while I'm scrolling on TikTok, I get a video about him coming back and bumping down the age back to 16+. Oh my god.
Jojo! Have you learned nothing?
Before he went private, I was able to download the video since I was showing it to a friend of mine, so why not go through it?
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, bro, for the scare, but or for the false alarm. This account is going to stay 16+. Reason why is because there's 500,000 of you guys, and it's just not gonna work. There's too many of you guys. I'm not gonna be able to get, weed out all the minors. Some lie about their age, some don't put their age in their bio. It's just gonna be messy. So I'm gonna keep the game plan is. I'm gonna keep this account 16+. I did remove most of my suggested videos that was crossing the 16+ content line.
I mean, personally, I think you should have removed all of your suggestive content if you're gonna make your account 16+ again. Since again, minors shouldn't be seeing any kind of suggestive content, even if you say, but it's all 16+ though, and it's not that bad. Just like you said, who knows if someone is lying about their age, so why keep any suggestive content to begin with? Let's keep going.
Because I'll admit, I did misunderstood what 16+ content really was, and now that I'm aware, did delete videos that was crossing that line. So yeah, I do hope you guys have a good one, and I know that there's like all this shit going around circulating about people taking screenshots out of context or whatever, which I have explained, but people don't listen. At this point, I'm tired of fighting. I'm so tired of fighting. So if you think I'm a go ahead and think of if you think I'm a child diddler, go fucking, I don't fucking care. Because by the end of the day, I have never talked to a minor with sexual intentions. I've never asked anything from a minor with sexual intentions. I've never touched a minor. I've never groomed a minor. I've never been sexually attracted to a minor. So no matter what you guys say, by the end of the day, that's just a fact. I've never done shit to a minor.
Although I'm not trying to call you a child diddler, and yes, maybe you haven't talked to, done anything, or whatever to a minor, that still doesn't erase the fact that many will raise their eyebrows at you due to the suggestive content that you had that was exposed to minors. And again, even if you grew up in Japan and the media over there is different, it still doesn't make it fine. Let's continue.
I know there's just been an internet thing, but you guys have thrown around that term so lightly. When it's such a heavy topic, especially for actual victims, do you know how hard you're making it for them? Because you guys have been watering down the term so fucking bad. However, because here's the thing, I know you guys don't read slideshows. I know you guys don't really read slideshows, so I'm gonna say here, I am sorry. I am sincerely sorry for creating and promoting inappropriate content to a younger audience, which was not appropriate. I am sorry for being stubborn and ignorant to people who were giving me advice and trying to tell me and inform me about my wrongdoings, about my actions, which regarded my content and my age rating. I have failed to acknowledge the damage that I've caused to people, including my audience. I had no intentions to bring harm or hurt anyone. I just wanted to post content. But I was irresponsible with that, and I do apologize. I am sorry. So like I said, going forward, I'm gonna be more careful with what I post. Definitely gonna tone it down, a lot down, and yeah.
That's the end of his response. From what I know at the moment, after this, he went private on TikTok, and the same with Twitter. Many who follow him still on TikTok say that he hasn't posted anything since he went private. If anything new comes up while I'm in the editing process, I'll probably put it in this part of the video right now. Other than that, that's basically it. I gave my opinions a bit throughout the video, so I'm pretty sure you guys know how I feel about this whole thing. This man should have listened when many were warning him about the content he was making, and should have been more worried about the type of audience he has, since other than him being a big influencer and having that be his responsibility as an influencer, that should have also been his responsibility as an adult. And with that, that's going to be the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it, and if you did, go ahead and give this video a like. If you want to see more of my content, then go ahead and subscribe. If you guys want to tell me your opinions on the matter or anything that I missed, then go ahead and tell me in the comments below. I would love to hear what you all have to say. I also want to be cheaty right now and thank you all for giving so much support on the Discord Hoops video. As of writing this part of the video, we're at 227 subscribers, and I just appreciate you all so much. I hope you guys stay tuned for all the content I plan on making for you guys, and I hope you all have a good day or night wherever you guys are from, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!